Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bad Blood, the franchise player, here live once again on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And I'm joined by my co-host, the man with the most, Tony DeBurns. Tony, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot going on here. Just sweating through stuff and working my butt off as usual. How are you been doing?
Well, I can tell you how I've been doing, man. It's a Crown and Coke night. I'm going to tell you. It's been one of those days. I almost called you to tell you that I wasn't going to do the podcast tonight, but, you know, I haven't missed one yet, so I'm not going to miss one today.
Well, crap.
Yeah, it's been one of those days. But, you know, we got some great guests on tonight. We got Malia Hosaka. We got the one and only Jazz. Caleb Rex. We got some really good guests on tonight, but most importantly, PCW Worldwide looks like we might be coming back relatively soon.
So, yeah, that was one of the first things I was going to want to ask about. So now our governor has done an about face, and now we are not going to be in extreme risk category. We are actually heading back into, I believe, either higher medium risk.
It's high risk, but we're still going to be able to
most likely, yeah.
In person fans in the building,
And imagine this. So suddenly I'm scrolling through Twitter last night, and I'm, perusing, we'll just say Blazers Twitter, me being the fan that I am, of course. And I'm seeing this tweet from one Damian Lillard in regards to how the Portland Trail Blazers are going to be the only team in the United States without any fans in the arenas. And suddenly, not 24 hours later, we get the announcement, oh, by the way, Oregon now is now going out of extreme risk for most of its counties, and the Moda Center is going to be able to host events again. How convenient.
Well, I can talk about that stuff all day, man. I'm beyond I'm beyond it right now. I'm so out of sorts. Out of sorts. Anyway, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about what's really going on in the world of professional wrestling these days. AEW with a tremendous show, Blood and Guts, man. I don't want to ruin it for you because you haven't seen it yet, but I will tell you, it likened to the old school days of the NWA, and I'm not talking about the NWA territory from like the 2000s. I'm talking about like War Games, Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, the Road Warriors. It was a match like that.
And if anybody knows me, they know that War Games is my favorite gimmick match, I guess is the right way to put it.
Yeah, I've been in enough War Games matches to last me a lifetime.
I love a good War Games match. I've interfered in a War Games match, so yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
There was a brick involved, I remember.
Yeah, I busted a brick over Buddy Highway's head, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
No, that was good times.
Yeah, it was good times. But speaking of good times, man, let's do this. Let's go ahead and just jump into our first guest of the evening. Our first guest of the evening is a former NWA World Women Champion. She's been all through the World Wrestling Federation, independents all over the country. She is someone that is looked upon as a living legend, so to speak. And I don't want to blow too much smoke up,
because around the world, as a matter of fact.
It's all realistic, man. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Ladies and gentlemen, Malia Hosaka.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Hey, welcome to the Roundtable. How are you?
Thanks. Good.
It's one of those days. It's one of those days.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Tony has a lot of questions to ask. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Tony.
So obviously, with professional wrestling, women's wrestling hasn't always gotten the amount of respect that it is starting to gather nowadays. Mm-hmm. So you've kind of gone through both of those periods where wrestling.
Well, I kind of went from the period of where it had respect, just not necessarily in the locker room, to the glow, let's make fun of it era, to the diva era, and now all the powers that be have girl daughters wrestling, so let's take it back to wrestling.
Absolutely, yeah. So being a part of all of those all those different time periods, from your perspective, what is it? How has that mostly been beneficial to you? I guess is probably the best way to put it. Starting from that.
I mean, honestly, the only beneficial part of living through all those eras for me was that I had some of the most elite and talented women out there to learn from. There is no one around today that can even touch the caliber of women wrestling or women wrestlers that I was in the ring with. And having that opportunity to do that and be in the ring with those girls is something that I will cherish forever. And it's because of them that I've been able to have a sustainable career outside of TV, because I was able to wrestle and promoters weren't going to fly TNA shows around. They wanted wrestlers, women wrestlers, when they flew us in. And so that really helped keep me booked during the diva era, because you can go to a strip club and see divas, and they wanted women wrestlers on their shows.
Absolutely. And so you had a unique I guess perspective. You wrestled several times for FMW, for Onita and after Onita had departed. What was the big difference between working when Onita was in charge and after Onita, I guess?
Well, when Onita was in charge, they actually were going to have me team with Megumi Kudo initially. They turned me babyface over there. It was a lot different because the wrestling magazines over there were privy to all of the storylines. So they knew what to photograph, and they knew what to help promote, and they knew what to help get over for all the different companies. But the women were at the company at the time, they were tough and tremendous wrestlers. But for whatever reason, LPWA, we were there primarily because of that. LPWA was big over there, and so they brought some of us in after LPWA closed. They turned me babyface. Like I said, I was going to tag team with Megumi Kudo. It just never worked out. I didn't go back for years later until I was actually Lita's replacement on the ECW, FMW, I guess, partnership show.
Yes.
In that aspect, I was brought in more as a special guest than an actual character or story. I was just filling a spot with Jazz to go over there and beat up their top baby to lead to this storyline that eventually, I guess, toppled in ECW, FMW days.
So that was supposed to be Lita in that match?
Yes, she had actually, I think that was at the time that she had her implants on, and so she was taking time off to wrestle from wrestling. And so we were both under contract with Vince, and so they called me and asked me to replace her over there.
Interesting. Okay, because so that was actually the 10th anniversary show. A pretty monumental event in 1999. You were over there with Jazz, teaming with Miss Mongol, and you had so much talent on that show. The homegrown FMW talent, the Funks were at that show. Balls Mahoney, Tommy Dreamer, Shawn Michaels there as a special referee. So to say that was a special event would be putting it lightly.
And that was actually Jazz's first trip over to Japan. Like, that was the first time she'd ever been there, and she wasn't really familiar with the culture or the food or anything. So it was kind of nice having her there. And I think she appreciated having me there because I had been there and I was a little bit familiar with how things were. So it kind of helped smooth it out for her to go back later and be a little bit more comfortable.
Absolutely. That sounds like an incredible experience being on such a massive show. But you also mentioned LPWA. How did you get involved there? Who brought you into that promotion?
Ken Resnick, actually, I believe. I had worked with him. I think it was on a Delta Tiger Lilies video. I believe he was there doing the announcing. I can't be positive that was the actual company at the time, but Ken was an announcer at LPWA, and he got my contact information and passed it on to Tor Berg, and Tor brought me in. And that's where I teamed up with Bambi and started learning from Leilani and Judy, and just basically learn to be a babyface and learn to go out there and actually and work. So.
Working with Leilani Kai, working with Medusa Maselli, and that.
Right. I only worked with Medusa once there. I enjoyed the match. I really didn't know a lot about her history or anything like that. I know she was big over in Japan at that time, but I wasn't really as familiar with her as I was Leilani and Judy, simply being around them and learning from them as much as I did there. But I did enjoy the one match that I had with Medusa there. But primarily my feuds were always with Leilani and Judy, and then the Nasty Girls, which were Misty Blues girls. Beautiful.
I love it. Bad Blood, go ahead and take over. Let me tag you in here, brother.
That's a hot tag. So let's talk about the NWA. What is your opinion of the NWA now as opposed to NWA 20 years ago?
I don't really follow it now because I don't do the whole, as I think I told you when we were first setting this, I'm very technically challenged when it comes to the computer and the internet and things like that. So I don't have like a streaming service where I go in and I can watch all of these matches. So I don't really have much of an opinion on what's going on with the NWA now because I don't know a lot about it, other than the fact that they do seem to have a lot of talent. I know Allison Kay was there, Thunder Rosa was there. They've had some tremendous women talent there, and I'd love to go just, see it one more time. My only experience prior with the NWA was Misty Blue booked me to work for the NWA in Texas. I did some battle royals when she was still with them. And the shoot story on why I was the NWA champion was the NWA had kind of fallen apart at the time. And I think at the time they were trying to recognize Medusa as their women's champion, but Debbie Combs was actually the on the books, on the record, legit champion for the NWA. They weren't wanting to recognize her. And so there was something going on there. And Debbie and I were on a little circuit run together, and she was like, let's put the belt on you tonight. And I was like, what? She goes, okay, let's just put the belt on you tonight because we're back here tomorrow night and we'll set it up for tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I'm the shortest reigning NWA women's champion because I only had it for a day. But that's really the shoot story of how I got it. It's just that I just happened to be working with Debbie on a run, and in order to make the angles and everything work, she dropped the belt to me and then of course took it back the next night. But I was shocked to find out the NWA actually recognized it because, like I said, at the time, they were not recognizing her as their champion.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit let's rewind a little bit to the WWE, Monday Night Raw, things like that. Tell us about your experience working for Vince.
Vince I was under contract there, but I can't really say that I worked for him. Like, they came up with a storyline. I was going to manage Poppy Chulo. My name was going to be Aphrodisia. And the week they brought me in to do it, Poppy didn't make it in due to customs things. And then the next week, the person that hired me there quit and left. And so politics came into play. I sat home, and they put Lita in the spot, which, I've heard people say that I don't know, that I sound like I'm jealous of that, but I'm not. Lita fit that look. I could have never pulled that off. I don't have that gangster. I don't know. Like, I just don't have that look. That's not something I could have ever done. So she fit that spot perfectly. However, that just happened to be, I sat home then. And the only other time it was I really dealt with them is I pitched the idea to be the Dudley sister, because the Dudleys were big then, and Ivory had wanted to bury the women's belt because it had become such an embarrassment, and make this ugly, awful belt where the loser of the match had to be the champion. So it was like an insult to be the champion. And I said, well, let me be the Dudley sister. I can come in and when I do the match and you finally lose and I get the belt, I'll be too stupid to know that I'm not supposed to be proud of the belt. Look, Bubba, I'm the champion. I'm great. And then Ivory can go dig up the real belt and say, no, honey, this is the gold. And boom, women's division revived, belt has meaning again, whatever. Again, I pitched the idea, politics, whatever. I was released and they brought in the Holly sister. So, yeah.
Okay.
I got you. Okay. So what's going on with you now? Like, what have you been up to the last 10 years? I mean, I know you've been in the Northwest for...
I retired in 2012 and got drugged back in 2013 by Brandy Wine. I worked for Shine at that time and just kind of picked and chose my bookings. Got my first tag team championship ever at Shine with her. Then she kind of went her own way. And so now I work with WOW, Women of Wrestling, owned by David McLean. And he's been trying to revive the women. This WOW's been going, it's been around for, I don't even know how many years, 20 years. But they just haven't ever had a foothold to where they could get out there. And they were finally getting that. And then, of course, COVID hits. But, I was working behind the scenes, helping train the girls with Jessie Bell and my original tag team partner, Selena Majors. And then I had my own little faction on the show called Exile, where we, just come in and I just, of course, insult everybody and tell them that they don't deserve to be in the ring, which is pretty much what I do at every place I go.
Living the gimmick. We had Sarah the Rebel on our show. We also had a friend of the channel, friend of the show, of the Lioness, and they both speak very highly of you. They say you're tough as nails. Sunny Days, the BCW Worldwide, one of the former NWA Pacific Northwest Ladies Champions, she also speaks very highly of you as well. Yeah. She was on the show last week.
Yeah. No, I think Sunny's great. Sunny actually just sent me a message today about a show in Pasco, but I don't know that the guy's going to book me. So I sent her a message back and said, hey, I talked to him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
She spoke to me earlier today about that, and she was like, I can't wait to see if I can get, I think it's like the 20th or something like that.
29th, I think, because I'm not going to get back in a ring until May 22nd, really. I had some surgery done, and my doctor really wanted me out until like June, but we finally, I'm like, May 22nd, can we go with that? So that's my next big show or big date with SWE Fury. And I'll be back there then.
Another friend of the channel, SWE Fury. Yeah.
James Beard, baby.
James Beard, Miranda Gordy.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another. So I was originally brought in. I was going to be brought in to work with Miranda because Jazz was retiring at that time. But I wound up in quarantine from COVID, so I didn't come in. And then so Jazz went ahead and dropped the belt to Miranda, and they ran with that story. And so I've just kind of been hanging out there waiting to see what they're going to do with me. And I just wrestled Rosemary. First time ever anybody's ever made me bleed, and she did. 30 years, there was a shocker. And nobody got pictures. There's no pictures. Like,
was it hard way?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. DDT on the chair. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the heart. What I mean by hard way is those actual busting of the skin.
So yeah.
Wow, that's Rosemary.
Yeah, no, but I like working with Rosemary. It was awesome. But yeah, so I'm just, like I said, I just kind of waiting to see what happens when they bring me back in on the 22nd. We're going to go with that. Minnesota's finally opened back up, so Steel Domain's getting ready to run their first show, and I get to defend my championship belt up there in July, and and then I work for Ian Rotten's IWA Mid-South. So yeah.
All right, so you got. I mean, your bookings are taking off over. It looks like.
I'm not I try to be super easy about who I work with. And in fact, I think it was just Undisputed Pro Wrestling in Texas just contacted me, and I'm actually going to do a seminar there and debut there for them in June. But I try to be pretty easy. My only, if it fits into my real job schedule and the girls that I work with are respectful, that's really all I ask. I don't ask for a lot more than that. I don't want to get in there. I can't afford to get in there and get hurt and not be able to do my real job. So.
Yeah, I completely 1,000% understand that. You don't want to get hurt in kayfabe, and then realistically can't do your real job because Such is life. That's where the money is.
Well, yeah, that's what pays my bills. So, you know,
Exactly.
I'm not out there. I'm not looking. And the nice thing is, like, I'm not looking to go to WWE or AEW. Don't get me wrong. If they called, I would. But because I'm not looking to go there, I don't think these girls look at me like I'm competition. Like, so some of the backstabbing that may have gone on doesn't necessarily go on so much with me because it's not my generation. I've been there, done that. Now I'm just trying to pass on some knowledge and have some fun.
I mean, that's the way it's got to be when you're a vet in this business. You're looked at as a person who, what's the word? You are, it's the pay it forward. It's your turn now to pay it forward. What someone taught you, like with Debbie Combs and Lula, when they taught you, it was like, hey, now it's my turn to impart this on the young people. Yeah, exactly, Cheryl. Mentoring the younger girls. That's right.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's important. And it's like, the thing is, like, if I can get them to take what my veterans taught me and incorporate it into their style and just bring some of that psychology and old school feel back, that's all that's missing. That art is all that's missing. And I don't think they really understand the quality and quantity of talent out there that they have to work with. I mean, talent was few and far between when I was coming up. It was hard, you know, and you didn't have a lot to choose from. So,
man, you know, Toby said it best. That's his attitude. Just go out there, have fun, and work hard.
Yeah,
and that's what you got to do. You got to go out there, you got to work hard, have fun, and be safe.
Be safe. And that's another thing. Like, I don't know if it's trainers don't know it, but they're not teaching the newer generation how to protect one another. It's like, I watch them and they just throw each other around like sacks of garbage. And I'm just like, ooh, you know, like protect your opponent. Like, he's giving you his body, at least respect that. So,
you know, I will tell you this, and 28 years in this business, 29 next month. Wow. What a crazy ride. Being in this business all this time, I learned from older guys, Mondo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Bill Anderson, you know, those guys like that, you know. When I come into this business, I came into it learning how to be a professional wrestler, how to conduct yourself in the ring, out of the ring, in airports, on hotels, restaurants, all that stuff. My job is to make you look good. My job is to protect you, to keep you from getting hurt. Nowadays, these kids, they get themselves a wrestling ring from High Spots. They get a guy to come in and do a seminar. They have like 3 matches. The guy's wife's the booker. The guy's brother's the referee. You know, and this guy's like the champion. And they've had like three days of training, and now they're trying to run a show at the local armory. That's where there's no respect in the business.
I watched girls, and I hate the fact that I say that I train them, but I did. They were some of the newer WOW girls that didn't get a chance to debut because of COVID. Well, they've decided, since California shut down, they're doing their own little thing. And I watched one girl try to powerbomb a guy 3 times her size. But not only was he 3 times her size, she didn't even know what she was doing. So she almost drops him on his head. And like, she could have seriously injured this guy because she's doing a move that she has no idea how to do on somebody that she shouldn't be doing it on to start with. And I see that to a huge amount of stuff like that they just want to learn these moves, and they go out there and they learn them, but they don't necessarily learn them the way they're supposed to. Like, they aren't taught the protection. They're not taught like thumb down so you don't break your wrist, or tuck their head so that if you do lose them, you've got their head, and all these things that Kowalski taught me that just aren't taught out there.
I tell these kids this all the time: chin to chest.
Yes. Feet leave the ground, chin to chest.
With CTE, you know, I mean, it's crazy. If you don't register your bump, you got to make sure you're safe. And you know, and this got like right here. Look at it. Shout out to High Spots.
I got mine from B-Bar A Boots, and I don't even think they're around anymore.
Oh my God. I got mine from KNA, and I was like, I still have them in my trophy case. As a matter of fact, if I move to the right behind the Northwest belt, you'll see a pair of boots. Those are
Sue Young actually has my original boots. She wanted them. I was going to sell them on eBay, and she wanted them. I'm like, have at them. But yeah, my original, actual, true wrestling boots that I started in, Sue Young has those. I got them from B-Bar A Boots, or B&A Boots, in Paris, Arkansas.
Nope, that's it. That's it. Yeah. I got a pair of boots from them. As a matter of fact, they come with those super big lifts.
Yes.
They make you, if you're 5'8", you're 6'2" in the boots. Trust me, it's crazy.
But that's the thing. They're out there wrestling in tennis shoes now, or the shooter boots, right? The amateur boots. And I'm like, you don't understand that why the soles of the real wrestling boots were made the way they were. It's so that you can move on the mat, so your foot doesn't catch and you don't snap your ankle. And I had a guy, I said, you need to get out of those tennis shoes and get some real boots. You're very talented. He's, I broke my ankle wearing real boots. I'll never wear those again. I'm like, well, it wasn't the boots that broke your ankle, dude. So, but yeah, I can't help it. I just like, it annoys me. It just so annoys me. Because my day, you couldn't get in the ring if you didn't have boots.
I'll tell you this. I remember going down to Sun Valley, California. I was 15 years old. I had been training with Rey Mysterio and with Mondo Guerrero. And I met Vern Langdon. And he asked me to come to Slammer's Wrestling Gym. So I drove down to Slammer's Wrestling Gym, and Fabulous Moolah was teaching a class at this wrestling gym.
Wow.
They actually had they had like a museum with her belt, her boots, and it was like fake money stuffed into the boots. It was like a glass case.
Wow.
It was pretty cool, actually.
That is awesome. Yeah.
And I remember watching these girls, and I keep in mind, I trained at a little gym in East LA with Mondo Guerrero, Bill Anderson, and Rey Mysterio, and they were training the Glow Girls.
Yes.
So the Glow Girls were trained.
The Glow Girls, they did get trained and they went to boot camp. I will never, ever, ever, ever consider any of them real wrestlers, with the exception of the handful that went on and actually, like Ivory, became a wrestler. I can respect them for their contribution to wrestling, but when you look at me and you tell me that your job was to make fun of my career, I can't respect you. And that's what it was. They were out there to make fun of women's wrestling. So, and I don't know that that's what David wanted it to be initially, but that's what it became.
Yeah. I mean, some of those girls like Hollywood and Cheryl Russa, they were there busting their butt to actually become professional wrestlers. So shout out to them. So, I mean, what's next for you? What is next for you as a professional wrestler, in and out of the ring, as a legend, as a vet?
I honestly don't know. Terry Funk told me when I first started, as long as I'm having fun, to continue to do this. When I'm not having fun anymore, it's time to quit, because there's no amount of money that can justify the abuse our body takes. So, and I'm still I'm having fun. I love entertaining the crowd. I love being out there. But honestly, like if I couldn't wrestle anymore, like if I was just to the point where I'm not going to be on the camera, I enjoyed being behind the scenes at WoW and teaching. I'm not like, I think Jessie Bell and I made a really good team, because I'm very good with the basics, because I'm a stickler over the little things like your hand placement and how you take your bumps and how your footwork is and how you're doing your holds. And Jessie is great with spots. Like, okay, we're going to run this spot drill. We're going to do this drill. Okay. And she could take the different girls and give them character things to do that fit their gimmicks. So like when they did these moves, it added just this little twist of their character onto the move. So it became theirs. And I really felt like she and I had an awesome teamship going out there as far as that. So I wouldn't mind having my own school or staying on if WoW actually opens back up and takes off, staying behind the scenes and helping to train the girls there.
From what I understand, WoW will be opening back up. So that's a big plus.
That's what I understand. It's going to open back up once California opens up. But I go, it's wrestling. So until it happens.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. So before we let you go, I play this game on the podcast. Real simple, it's real fun. A lot of people love it. It's it's something that might be right up your alley. The game is called Team With, Feud With, or Fire. Basically, it's real simple. You can team with anyone in the industry, no matter who they are, alive or dead. You can feud with anybody, and you can fire anyone. No excuses, no explanation needed, unless you want to give us one. So, team with, feud with, or fire.
Alive or dead, team with? Oh, I'd go back to teaming with Bambi in a heartbeat.
Perfect.
She was my first and original tag team partner, and I always loved teaming with her. The only problem is I'm a heel now. She can't. She's a 100% true baby face. So I don't know how that would work. Feud with Debbie Combs. I mean, I loved feuding with her. She was amazing. I can't, the things I learned from her over the time that I was in the ring with her, I can't even begin to explain or express my gratitude to her for taking this greenhorn and showing her the ropes and seasoning me out. If you're talking about today's wrestlers, I'd kind of want to feud with Ronda Rousey, only because I want to know if she actually came over to our side, or is she just a UFC MMA girl playing wrestler, you know?
Interesting. I like that.
And I honestly, I don't judge anybody's work until I work with them, because I know what I'm capable of and what I've been taught and who I've learned from. So I've listened to people go, oh, well, don't work with so-and-so because she'll hurt you. And then I've worked with so-and-so and I'm several times and never been hurt. And I'm like, well, maybe the two of you just didn't know what you were doing.
You know, that's real simple too. Cause it goes back to the same philosophy of, yeah, man, you know, I watched this dude, man. He's so horrible. Like he's wrestling shits. Don't go watch that guy wrestle. If someone told me that, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch that guy wrestle.
Now,
the guy's good.
Yes, after I got released from Vince and Molly Holly had stabbed me in the back, I would look at a girl and say, thank you for the worst match I've had in 13 years. Hang your boots up and get the frick out. I earned the name as the capital B in the business, and I own it 100% because I had no problems not pulling any punches with anybody on any subject when it came to being in the ring. Fire, absolutely. I would have fired Molly Holly in a heartbeat.
I was going to say, it sounds like the direction we were going in. Yep. It's nice that you actually
too. So,
it's nice that you're actually one of the
Molly's above her.
We were actually able to get a straight answer from on that question. Almost nobody does.
Yep, she came right with it too. Like she had no qualms about it.
Yeah, oh no, I'd fire that her in a heartbeat. Yep. So, but you know, I helped break Molly in, and I know that she gave me her little shout out in her acceptance speech, but she really didn't. She's never really expressed to people exactly what I did for her. And the 5th match of her career, she was working for WCW. She didn't have boots and she didn't have gear. Now, who the hell has ever had that in this business, especially for the women, you know? Yeah. And then I traveled with her and I helped her, and I really thought we were friends. And so when she did what she did to me, that tore my heart out. And I decided that none of the girls were worth it anymore. I should have listened to Debbie. Debbie told me don't trust the girls. Man.
Damn.
You know,
damn.
That's some heat, ladies and gentlemen. That's some real heat. So without further ado, hey, thank you very much for joining us here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. You got any links you want to shout out? Any Facebook, Twitter, YouTube?
Facebook is Malia MDM Hosaka. Instagram is Malia Hosaka, and Twitter is at Modern Day Moolah, because I'm the last of my generation. So.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Modern Day Moolah right here with Malia Hosaka. Hey, thank you very much for joining us here today. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Great futures do start, the Boys and Girls Club, and we are back live. And hey, before we go any further, Tony, I need to give a shout out to Sunny Days. Thank you very much, Sunny Days, for that pep talk you gave me earlier. It really helped out, and you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll explain to you later on, buddy. But
Okay.
Shout out to Sunny Days. That's right, the last lady in the Pacific Northwest in professional wrestling, Sunny Days. So I mean, wow, right? It's been a red letter day. Letter day.
When we bring on our next guest, I've got a, I guess you can call it a surprise. I know we weren't really anticipating on showing any matches, but there was something I wanted to check out, and I figure with the three of us, just watching maybe the last 3 or 4 minutes of something, I think might be a little bit of a treat for the fans. So let's go ahead and get our next guest on, and then we'll proceed.
Well, before we bring on our next guest, let me say this. This guy has been busting his butt to make himself better in the world of professional wrestling. He's an amazing football star. He's also a thoroughbred, so to speak.
Hell of a coach, too.
Oh, he is a hell of a coach, too. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the man that runs Rex Nation, the thoroughbred himself, Caleb Rex. Caleb, welcome.
Hey, it's a hell of an introduction. Can you all hear me okay?
Absolutely.
We can hear you
Awesome.
fine. As a matter of fact, I got those same headphones except mine are wireless, buddy.
This is all my backup gear. My laptop's taking a dump on me like as I'm trying to log in. I can't use my snowball mic. I'm using my tablet and my Xbox headphones. So we're making this thing work.
Good?
Thank
Sound
you.
good?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good.
Absolutely.
It worked out. So what have you been up to, man? The COVID has put everything kibosh on the world of professional wrestling here in the Northwest for a while, and now things are starting to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go out to North Dakota with you, which was a hell of a time. And then since then, it's just been kind of stop and go. I was supposed to go out to California, and then all that snow dumped on us unexpectedly, and I couldn't go out there because I was going to drive. Myself and Ernest Olson have been working really hard. The Northmen, we've been working really hard to try to get some tag team bookings and stuff like that. We were supposed to go up to Spokane this weekend, and magically we're hearing, oh no, sorry, we're canceling the show because we're rolling things back. So it's been hard. I've been able to stay busy with football. I both play and coach. I was blessed to get a job at Skyview High School here in the Vancouver area, and they're number 4 in the state. I got yelled at a lot, and it wasn't even necessarily because I was doing something wrong. It was just I wasn't at their standard, and it was a learning experience for sure. It was sick.
And then professional wrestling, man, you're breaking the new barriers, breaking down new walls.
Yeah, doing what I can. I'm supposed to go out to Texas next weekend, Houston, Texas, for a showcase. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to work my ass off.
What promotion are you going for?
So from my understanding, it's a bunch of different bookers from a bunch of different promotions coming and watching a card being put on.
This might have something to do with SWE.
No, actually, this is the AIWF.
Yeah, it's
Texas.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's the one you sent me to way back. Okay. And then I just kind of been waiting to hear for it because it was like 3 or 4 months in advance. So I'm gonna go work my ass off, see if I can get somebody to notice me.
Well, this is what I want you to do, Caleb Rex. I want you to listen to me very carefully. There's a man on my Facebook page. His name is Bobby Horn, otherwise known to the WWE world as Sir Mo.
Okay.
There's a show in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, it is a huge OIWA event.
Yeah.
And that event is going to be the 29th. Oh, I'm sorry, the 20th, 23rd of this month.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to be at the Memphis Hilton. It's going to be the OIWA North American Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Your boy, the franchise, is a top seed in that tournament. I will be bringing more gold home because, you know, I need another spot in my trophy case to replace the AIWF American title that I forfeited, or that I relinquished, I should say. They're always looking for amazing talent. Dante Smiley, the OIWA International Heavyweight Champion, is a top-tier trainer. The Bumps and Bruises Academy in Texas, not just in Texas, but in Memphis. I'm telling you, if you get your butt down there, you will learn from some of the very best in professional wrestling. And, you know, tell me, boy, the franchise sent you, and I'm guaranteeing you that you'll be treated right.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm in there. Yeah, I'm there. I'm with it. I'm honestly, I'm trying to find all the excuses to get out of my own area and get myself out. So yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm with it.
Friend of the show, Brutal Bob, would be right on with that. But so something I just wanted to we're gonna play the last few minutes of a match here. Something that actually Malia had actually brought up during her interview. I figured just a little bit of since we haven't really shown a match on this show in a while.
we haven't shown a match in almost 6-7 months.
Something like that, yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll watch the conclusion here, and just kind of go over some of everybody's thoughts here, if we possibly can. So let me go ahead.
We're all game for it, ladies and gentlemen. This is an exclusive. Tony to Burn with the exclusive. A Malia Hosaka match. Look at this. Oh, and she's wrestling Rosemary. That's right, Rosemary of Impact Wrestling fame on Fight TV, ladies and gentlemen. We did not own the rights to this, by the way.
It's on YouTube. It's free to play.
And she calls herself the modern day Moolah, and you can kind of see by some of her characteristics, some of her mannerisms in the ring, and the way she takes her time. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh,
look at that! Wow, this SW Fury show. Yes,
it
is
the SWA Fury show. Absolutely.
This is no doubt in Dallas, Texas. SW Fury is running wild in the Southwest right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, stiff bump right there on the concrete floor. Been there, took that.
Yeah.
For those listening at home, for those listening on Spotify, Google, Anchor, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Google Playlists, you know, all those good things. Spotify, like everyone that's listening on the audio version of the podcast, we're watching Malia Hosaka, the modern day Moolah, as she takes on Impact Wrestling, a member of Decay, Rosemary, and Rosemary has a steel chair and she's about to smash. Like she's coming back in the ring with the chair.
This is actually from last month. It was from April 8th, as a matter of fact.
April 8th, SWE Fury. It looks like Malia with a punch to the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's right. Ouch. That's reversal into the corner. Nice spin kick. Oh, right to the mush.
Laid that one in.
Yeah, and you gotta appreciate somebody who's got the timing to just not even have to look back.
Exactly.
Well, this referee right here, this guy is like a sign guy over here. He's grabbing the chair and look, whack, Malia gets smacked in the face with the chair. And I'm sure the referee saw that because it's not WWE.
Yeah, he just called for the bell. He just called for the bell.
Oh man.
Now you remember what she was saying about that DDT?
Oh my God, that's the one that split her open. That's right.
Yeah.
Juice the hard way.
Now, look in the hard way. Background. Watch the background.
Yeah, Miranda Gordy.
Friend of the show, Miranda Gordy.
That's right, the fabulous Freebird herself. Speaking of the fabulous Freebirds, we're going to end up getting an exclusive interview with Miranda Gordy, Tristan Hayes, and hopefully Buddy Jack Roberts Jr. The Freebirds coming up really soon here on the radio on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast.
You remember what she was saying about how that was the first time she had ever been cut open in a match?
Oh yeah, it was
We're
legit too,
seeing it.
Rosemary.
Yep. We're seeing it. First time. First
And ladies
time
and
ever.
gentlemen, I can tell you right now, I bet Malia was pissed. I've been busted open the hard way in a match, and I was pissed when I got back to the back.
Yikes.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, like you said, ladies and gentlemen, it goes down here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast. Sometimes people get their ass busted open, and
Yeah, they
it
do.
happens.
Yeah.
It has happened. It's happened to all three of us. I am pretty.
Man.
I'm positive. I mean,
I'll tell you right now, it ain't nothing like getting hit between the legs with a barbed wire crutch. Yeah, during war games.
Yeah.
A salty bastard hit me in the balls one time with some. That's okay though, because I not only hit that guy in the balls with a 20-pound chain, but also I did hit their manager in the stomach with a live weed whacker. So things happen.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're in your first ever bull rope match with a possibly intoxicated cowboy, and he beats the dog. He beats the dog shit out of you with a cowbell.
Say, sometimes you're in a war games match, you shove a dildo down a guy's throat.
Yeah.
Shout out to Billy Moon.
Yeah, you know.
I remember when you.
Of it.
I remember Bad Blood. You curb stomped me onto a chair once.
Hey, you know what? There's a picture floating around Facebook somewhere, and I made it my profile picture for a while. It's me curb stomping Billy Moon from the apron onto a chair.
Yeah.
And my shadow was cast on the wall, and it was so awesome.
Yep. But what a lot of people don't realize is that even though that's the infamous one, I was the very first one you did that on.
That's true. That's true. You're my test subject. But you know, yeah, thank you for being a test subject. But Caleb, we talk about up and coming superstars. We talk about guys that are building their brand. Tell us about the Rex Nation. How did that all start, man? Like, where did you get that from?
It started in football. I've been playing ball since I was about in second grade. And every single game, my family just would come out in full force. And then as it progressed to high school, you know, I had all my friends, I had all my family, I had just like this whole section of people that are just my guests, basically. And then once I got to college, that's when it kind of took its own kind of life, because they would drive up in an RV and then tailgate before the games. So like my whole big family and all my friends and everybody's just hanging out before football games, tailgating, drinking. My one of my uncles painted his face green and white, and he bought an axe because we were the knights, and he's like yelling and screaming, we're waving around an axe. It was they kind of. Yes. Oh yes.
Does he know JB Moonshine?
With how much those guys like to come in full force, I'm sure he does.
Oh God! Speaking of JB, it's Wednesday at the BCW. We're no longer the BCW podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast. We are not exclusive to BCW. But once again, the hillbilly is on here, drunk as hell. Don't feel JB. I got that Crown and Coke right here, so I'm with you. It's one of those nights, man. It's one of those nights. You ever had one of those days where you just wish, like, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to get shit-faced and do the podcast. Well, hey, it's one of those nights.
Right on. No, yeah, it just, and once I became Caleb Rex, they kind of had a name to go by, and they're like, oh, we're the Rex Nation. And like, I believe Douglas was on live one time and went over and talked to my mom, and the entire group just kind of took over the interview.
Oh my God.
And it was born from there. Yeah. The Rex Nation. It's been great. I'm so thankful. I love those guys.
Can I just say, Caleb, that you look like you're 12 years old now that you shaved off.
Yeah. You know, it was an impulse thing too. I just woke up one day and I was like, I wanted to cut my hair. I was just feeling so weird and so
Your
low.
hair, you're in Vancouver, man. Go to Big D's barbershop downtown Vancouver. She does a great job.
Off of an impulse, I nearly did it, and instead I made it like an agreement with myself that maybe I'll just do the facial hair and see how I feel. And
dude, go balls out, man. Get the clippers and just live on the podcast right now. I will pay, dude. I will sell you $50 right now.
No. The thoroughbred needs his mane. Yeah, that's how I get booked sometimes.
This is how we should do it. So if you do feel like you're gonna cut the hair off, we'll do it live from Big D's barbershop on the show.
Okay.
Hey, now that things are opening back up, I say we throw a party at Big D's. I've been trying to get a Big D barbershop haircut party going for a while.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know. Let me tell you something about Big D's barbershop. She has booths. She got big screen TVs. The music is playing. The atmosphere is like a nightclub up in there. And she do straight razor cuts, ladies and gentlemen. I think we need to have a party at Big D's barbershop.
We can set the ring up just about anywhere. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Downtown Main Street, everybody in Vancouver.
Like, I bet you it draws a crowd.
Yeah,
probably will.
I bet you it draws a crowd. If we set it up at the right spot on Main Street with everybody that likes to walk the bars and everything, they'll walk right past it and be like, oh shit, what is this?
There are several bars in downtown Vancouver, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
They want it.
Right by that, maybe right by the Kiggins Theater, you know?
No, absolutely. Exactly. It would be sick to eventually be able to put on a show inside one of the theaters like some of those guys up north do and things like that. That would be kind of fun.
Sick. And I've been thinking about this ever since I spoke to you 3 months ago. It would be sick to have a comedy and wrestling event at the best comedy club in all of Portland, Oregon, ladies and gentlemen.
Helium Comedy Club. Oh no, absolutely. I've been blowing up. So it's not a matter of Helium saying yes. It's a matter of the guy that owns the parking lot outside of Helium saying yes. So I've been blowing up his email, just kind of waiting for him to reply.
Blow him up.
Oh yeah.
Tell him we will send him a life supply of Blue Chew. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give him the Blue Chew. We will make this show hard and fast. It'll be a up all night show. Stiff competition, ladies and gentlemen.
The one thing the two things I love is wrestling and comedy, and working at the comedy club and seeing all the locals we have that are just so freaking funny. Yeah, it's something we got to do because it's so Portland. It's super Portland.
Comedy show. Shout out to our girl Nicole Byer. That's right, nailed it.
Yeah,
she's channel. She was watching earlier here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. She follows us. This is taking effect, ladies and gentlemen.
Been to the show a couple times. Yeah.
She follows us on Twitter. She follows me on Instagram and Snapchat. As a matter of fact, trying to get her to come. She's going to be in Washington pretty soon. Trying to get her to come down to Helium so we can, have a BCW Worldwide presents the Helium, like hot summer nights at Helium. We can do something like that.
Yeah.
Slams and laughs.
Man,
it'd be great. No, I would love it.
Sinbad dropping the leg drop on everybody.
So I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's two different comedic wrestling promotions in Portland. So there's Plow, the Portland Legends of Wrestling, which it's literally just promos. It's comedic promos. They create their own characters, and and then there's another one. I think it's like Wow or something like that. But yeah, no, they. One of my buddies, Jeremiah, he has this character called the Commuter, and he's got a bicycle helmet on and his yellow vest, and he's like, I'm the Commuter.
The Commuter.
Yeah, the Commuter.
Like, I'm on the bus.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at their Instagram right now. Yep. The Corrector versus the Commuter.
Corrector.
Yeah. Lydia Manning.
It's just like, you're doing
Lydia,
it wrong.
yeah, one of the trainees. Yeah, she's part of this.
She's an ex-champ. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
she went by stabbing Lydia Manning, and she
Oh
would.
my God,
that was her gimmick, is she was gonna stab you.
Well,
I love Lydia. Lydia, if you're watching this podcast, girl, we love you.
you gotta have her on. She's hilarious, man.
Lydia is funny, man. I
she's
love
a
her,
great
man.
comic, absolutely
Yeah,
great.
Not so great camera girl, but she's a really good camera.
And she would, what was funny is watching her kick most of our asses in training when it would come to like the conditioning stuff and everything like that. She would finish like the laps far before we would. She's legit, yeah.
So I wouldn't be bragging about that.
Hey, you know what? If you guys saw her, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I wouldn't be telling people that Lydia outran me. Ladies and gentlemen, Lydia is like 5'5". She's probably like 100 pounds soaking wet with my boots on.
Yeah, so she's fast.
Yeah. So basically, what Caleb Rex is saying is he just got embarrassed by a woman, 3 times smaller than he is.
I admit it. I admit it. She got me on in speed. You're very right. No, I miss training. Training's been a lot of fun. The heels would kick our ass most days. It was a good time.
I'm looking so forward to getting back to training. I've missed it so badly.
Yeah, I love training. I love being able to travel around the country. Fortunately, I get to do that like twice a month, and it's awesome. I would prefer to be doing it every weekend like I was before, but COVID. Let me tell you guys though something that's really, really cool that's going to happen pretty soon. Remember Madison Square Garden?
Yep.
Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Kevin Nash, and Triple H. They did this thing in the middle of the ring. They too sweeted each other.
It's a curtain call.
It was called the curtain call.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of a curtain call, guess who's going to be a member coming on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast in not 1, but maybe 2 weeks? The man behind the video, the curtain call kid, will be on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Yes. Manny, if you're listening, we can't wait to get you on the podcast, my brother. I'm going to go ahead and shoot you the information. Look, Manny hit me up. He said, hey, brother, I want to be on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. The curtain call kid. We make dreams happen, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Killer Rex making dreams happen, especially in North Dakota. Shout out to Allie. And Shane, God. The inventors of the Too Sweet. Shane, shut your damn mouth. It's what, like, hey, like I said, man, it's been one of those days. Thank God for Crown Royal. With that being said, Caleb Rex, thank you very much, man, for joining us here today on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you want to stick around, you can watch the amazing interview with the legendary former NWA World Women's Champion, the longest reigning NWA World Women's Champion, at least in my opinion. 900 some odd days, that's pretty effing long.
Yeah, it is.
Former WWE champion, the first lady of Extreme. And I ain't talking about Francine. I'm talking about the one, the only, the phenomenal fighting female herself, Jazz. Up next on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. And we're going to hear from the legendary man himself, James Beard.
Hi, this is James Beard with SWE Fury, and you're watching the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. James Beard, SWE Fury, runs wild here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And Tony, are you ready?
I am certainly ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, the interview, the exclusive. She don't grant interviews all that often. Jazz.
Thank you. How you doing tonight?
Oh man, it's a day.
Tell me about it.
It's a day.
Tell me about it. I understand.
Man,
yeah.
So let's talk about you. Let's talk about Jazz. Let's talk about this legendary career, like from the top to the bottom. Like, you started out. Where'd you start out? Let's go with that.
I started out. Actually, I started training in Lafayette, Louisiana, underneath the Junkyard Dog. I was with him for about probably like 6 months, and he left and had to go do his own thing. And Rod Price came in and took his place, and that's when I really started training for wrestling.
Yeah, Rugged Rod.
Because with Dog, it was just Dog just pretty much taught me the business aspect of it. But Rod, he taught, it was wrestling and the business and on the road and just everything about wrestling. I got
Rugged Rod Price ain't no joke. No joke.
Exactly.
So you got trained by Rod Price, Junkyard Dog. You moved out to ECW, like the original ECW. How was it being a woman in a business with Paul Heyman?
Well, first of all, I was only in the business probably 8 months training.
Wow. Before
I went to ECW and did my tryout and got my first contract with them. It was I can't say different because I had never experienced anything else really. I only had maybe 5 matches before I went to ECW. So going in there, still green as the grass outside, had no clue about anything whatsoever. Kind of just got thrown out there. It was either, swim or drown.
Yeah.
Sink or swim. Yes, that's it. Sink or swim. So, always I was just thrown out there to the wolves, man, and just do or die. And I couldn't allow myself to fuck up that opportunity. So I just hung in there and kind of like just caught on to how they were doing things there, So, they were a little different. The lingo coming in, not knowing anything, not really knowing terminology much, and every word coming their mouth going over match was fucking this, boom boom that, and hit it with this, the gimmick that, and and I just was like, hold on. When they finish all that, I would grab Jason, like, Jason, okay, so what's gonna happen before my spot occurs?
He's like, what?
Yeah, what's my cue?
My favorite thing, wrestling, being around the business, I've been wrestling 28 years. So when someone says, we're going to do this, and we're going to pull a Gaga in there, people are like, what does that even mean? I'm like, you don't want to know.
Exactly. But ECW was such a family, I never saw any egos there. If it were, it was probably the top guys, and and everyone else underneath them was happy as hell because everybody got a chance to work. There was no fighting for spots, so we were just happy to be there, so it was all good. I love ECW.
Yeah, the Pitbulls used to tell me that it was like one of the most mellow places that they ever worked.
For real, it really was. No politics whatsoever.
That's always good.
If you was there, you was gonna get to walk through the curtain.
Man, you don't get that these days. I tell you that.
Hell no.
So fast forwarding from ECW, you got an opportunity to work for the World Wrestling Federation. The WWE back in the day was called the World Wrestling Federation for fans who don't know, who are probably listening on Spotify or Google or one of the many platforms we're on. You actually went down to OVW for a while, right?
Yeah. Once they reached out to me, they told me they were gonna send me to OVW just to knock off the ring rust because I hadn't wrestled in probably, I guess, maybe. Well, I was on the indies, but still, I guess they felt I needed just to knock off some ring rust. So they told me just for a couple of weeks or a month or two or whatever. But and I went down there, and Cornette was running TV out there, so I never really got to do anything for TV because Cornette was like, I can't put you in anything, Jazz, because they told me he wasn't going to be here long. So, but I was there maybe 2 months before I got called up to actually start.
You literally were there a cup of coffee.
Yeah, yes. You know, right place at the right time. That's been a key to my success. Right place at the right time.
I tell people all the time, like, just like I tell the young guys, dude, show up. Always show up. Always have your gear ready. I tell a story how I got my first trip to Japan, and I lived in the dojo in LA, and Hiroko Inoki came to me and she says, "Hey, they want you to do the tryout." And I was like, I don't think I'm ready for it. And luckily, well, I shouldn't say luckily, well, lucky for me, a guy got injured during the tryout, and they just, you need to go out there and do the tryout. And I guess I impressed Masato Tanaka to the point where he was like, "Hey, come back tomorrow." And I'm like, "Yeah, that ain't gonna happen." I went back the next day, and they, in Japan, they don't really show that much approval.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did I screw up? Did I do something wrong? And about 2 weeks later, Hiroko comes into our room and she says, "Get a passport. You're going to Japan." I'm like, "Yeah, right." She threw that plane ticket on the bed and said, "Get a passport." I was like, "Oh my God."
There you go. Yeah.
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time. Mm-hmm.
So you did your training at OVW. When did you made? I know you made your debut at Survivor Series. I remember that because it was a 6-pack challenge gimmick, whatever it was. I specifically remember that because I was like, dude, I watched her at ECW. You just showed up on there. What was that like?
Nerve-wracking as hell. That was my second time actually going down that ramp, because I actually went there for a dark match prior to me getting signed. So yeah, that was my second time going down the ramp. Kind of a funny story about that. They got me up there. I was a surprise, and they never allowed me to practice my entrance or anything, what I was going to do when I walked through Gorilla and out the curtain. But I went out there and I just kind of did a little thing, and it kind of mimicked Booker T's deal when he comes out, the little yeah, not intentionally doing his deal, just
stole his gimmick. It's all right.
And that's what he told me, like, "What's up with that? You stealing my shit or what?" But I just didn't know nothing else to do.
Man,
it was like the spirit just hit me, and that's what I did.
Hey, if it works, sometimes.
Yeah. But I end up changing it, finding my own spiel, and finding my own swag of doing me, and made it work.
Oh, they obviously had big plans for you from the gate. I mean, like, you go in there, you debut, you start wrestling Trish Stratus, and it's like you're going after the women's title, and like you beat her for the women's title, and
all that shit happened so fast. Like,
right?
I wasn't even prepared for all that. It's just like it took off. Again, thrown out there to the wolves. Shit. So it was, it was.
It was
the opportunity
crazy.
was there again. The opportunity was there. So
oh man,
I just went out there and did what Jazz do. I was more than ready for it. I was ready for it, but still, a little intimidating. That's like the grandest stage of all, right? WWF, whatever. But yeah, man, it's just a blessing. I've people ask me if you could do anything differently, would you? I'm like, no.
Why would you?
Not at all. There's
that right there.
There's like nothing I could go back and say I would do differently. Not one thing.
Exactly. Like that right there is the epitome. Like you just came out of nowhere, like boom, like
yeah. And I just brought something different to the table. It was just totally different, because then they were still doing gimmick matches. Bra and panty matches, wet t-shirt contests, bathing suit standoffs. They're just doing dumb shit. And thank God they never threw me out there to do any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta say this though, like I've been around wrestling for a long, long time, and I know your husband. I actually met him through Robert Langdon at NWA Texoma.
Yeah.
I was doing a show at Texoma, and he's like, "You need to get a hold of this guy." I was going to book him a couple of times when he was the AIWF with the AIWF back in the day. But I always say this, and I was like, the first time I get to talk to Jazz online, I'm going to talk about this match because this is the only WrestleMania that I actually felt like had a really good from top to bottom card. That was WrestleMania 18.
There you go. My favorite Mania.
Well, of course, you won the women's title. you defend the belt against Lita, and I believe it was
Trish.
I think it was Trish.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta say that was the best WrestleMania.
Thank you. Yeah.
From top to bottom. Most of the matches now were just like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is like that's when wrestling had a build. Like you build on a storyline. It actually was more than 3 weeks. Now 3 weeks, and that's your storyline.
Yeah, but again, that was the Attitude Era, and you still had some real ass men that was still wrestling at the time. So, it's some grown ass men.
So explain to the people listening, because a lot of wrestlers listen to this podcast too, and a lot of Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling guys and AEW guys, but a lot of guys don't understand the feeling of walking down that ramp at WrestleMania. Tell us, from the curtain to the ring, what did you feel?
First of all, that's a long ass walk. You're trying to remember everything. You're trying to stay focused. You're excited. The adrenaline is just freaking crazy. Yeah, man, and it was 89 people there, something like that. I think it was over 80,000 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's one of those feelings you really can't describe. It's just anyone that ever said they wanted to be a wrestler, that's where they want to be. And to say that you've actually made it there, and you're going down as a champion, it's one thing walking down, but when you're walking down as a champion already, you just, man, I probably said 20 prayers before I walked down the ramp.
As you're walking the ramp.
Yes. Like, God, don't fail me now.
Man.
Yes,
I mean,
I'm here to win it, and I'm here to do it and get me through it.
You've had some pretty, astonishing times at WrestleMania, in the WWE. I remember when I think it was so I remember this match because it was crazy. It was one of the top 10 Jazz matches on Raw. You wrestling Bubba Ray Dudley for the Hardcore Championship.
I don't know why people love that match. I kind of hated that match.
Why?
I don't know. It's just because I didn't really get to do what Jazz does. I was injured at the time, so I was in the process of being taken out to have my ACL surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I had torn ACL during that time. Still out there wrestling, man. Shit. Yeah, still out there trying to keep hope alive.
Man, I mean, that's when I know you dropped the belt to Trish because of the ACL injury. I remember that.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit, because I know you did a lot of NWA stuff too. I remember wrestling on an NWA cyberspace show.
Yeah.
And I remember because Mercedes Martinez was there. And I think
April Hunter.
Yes, you wrestled April Hunter for the belt.
Tracy Brooks.
Tracy Brooks, before she married Frankie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've done it all. I mean, I know. I remember you wrestled at All Pro Wrestling in California. I actually was gonna be. I would actually have my ACL injury before, and I wasn't able to do that show.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on, but I will tell you.
You have to go down to Wikipedia to see everything.
Well, see, I don't want to go through that. That's too far.
That is. That's
I gotta go find it.
Some things I don't even remember,
Well, I remember this specifically because I am the longest reigning NWA Continental Heavyweight Champion in history, the longest reigning NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Champion in history. And I was talking to Robert Langdon from NWA Texas, formerly NWA Texoma, now Texoma Pro. And we were talking about like the longest reigning champions, and you held that the NWA women's title for like almost 950 days.
You know what? Didn't even realize it, honestly.
Like only Moolah and I think
didn't dawn on me. You know, I had no clue. I'm just preparing myself for the next match. That's all.
Well, I remember you held that belt fucking forever, man. And I was excited because I knew you were going to wrestle at the new NWA.
Yes.
Because we were going to do, because BCW was still part of the NWA during the 70th anniversary show. And I remember I had just wrestled at NWA Texoma. And the next show was when you wrestled Amber O'Neil, or Amber Gallows at the time, and you won the title from her.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to her that night, and she was like, "I didn't know I was losing the belt." I was like, "Well,
yeah, that was a crazy ass night."
Yeah, well, there were certain circumstances as to why she was losing the belt, but we won't go there. But yeah, like I mean, me and Robert were talking about that, and you won the women's title and had it for damn near 950 days. And he was telling me, yeah, you know, you may be this and that, but you ain't no jazz, bro.
That's Robert for you, right?
I'm like, why you gotta be that way, bro?
Robert for you. Oh yeah.
So I mean, from that. Yeah, I know you showed up at AEW's Casino Royale, the very first show. Was it All or Nothing, or All Out? Wait, it was All Out. I remember you showed up there. Then you showed up at Impact Wrestling. You know, I mean, and that's most recently. You showed up at Impact Wrestling. You were I believe you're Jordan Grace's tag team partner for a while. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Announcing my retirement, and Dreamer called me and said, "No, you're not." And I was like, "Yes, I am." He's like, "No, you're not." I was like, "Well, okay then."
I remember watching.
Yeah, you know, once opportunity presents itself, you know. The door is open. You gotta run through it sometimes, and that's what I did. And tagging with Jordan was a great experience. Loved
Texas girl.
Loved every moment of it. Yeah, Jordan's awesome. I love her to death. You know,
I remember when she first started out, and she was
me too. She was a kid.
Yeah, well, she was like, I know she was dating Bolt Brady at the time, and she was working for a little Texas company back. I believe it was an NWA company at the time. And I met her, and she was like, "I'm going to be on TV one day." And sure enough, now she's on TV.
Beast too, man. Jordan Grace is a beast.
She's always been that good, though.
Yeah. She reminds me a lot of myself, you know, in my prime.
In your prime, like last week.
Shit, hell no. But yeah, that was great, and I thank them, you know, Dreamer and Impact, for allowing me to actually have my retirement on a platform like that. So, you know, kudos to them, and forever grateful for that, for those moments, and also Jordan, you know, and the girls in that locker room were just fantastic. I've worked with numerous of them, you know, numerous times, so I didn't walk in as a stranger to any of them. So it was just a cool sisterhood, man. It was nothing but love back there. Nothing but love.
That's good. I mean, I always love to see like positive stuff like that. I know you were a positive like person in that locker room, and all the one looked up to you, ODB, Havoc, and Nevaeh. As a matter of fact, I talked to Deanna Parasso at one time. God, I believe it was a WSU show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And
Yeah, I was a tag team. I was a tag team champion at WSU.
You and Marty Bell. You and Marty Bell.
Marty Bell, man.
Yep.
Yes. You know what? But life is great. I'm with SWE now. I'm the first Hall of Famer inductee for SWE here, and we're doing big things. I'm over the women's division there, so my plate is full, and I'm having a blast doing it. And now I'm on the other end of the
you're behind the funny?
Yes.
I'm friends with Miranda Gordy.
Okay.
And I had her on the podcast a while ago, and we were talking about SWE, and she was like, "I'll tell you right now, Jazz is the mama bear of the women's division there, and she don't take no shit. Don't piss her off." And half the women in the locker room don't piss her off. Even James Beard put you over when he was on the podcast too.
Well, James, that's my uncle. James was there for my first match ever. Oh,
James
my
is
God.
Scary. He is scary, and I'm gonna tell you why he's scary. Look, I've known James for God knows how long. I wrestled Tim Storm for the North American title at Texoma, and James was the booker at the time. And he was just telling me, "It's okay, man. You're going to do good. I promise."
Yeah.
So
that's James. Mr. Positive. He's so positive about everything.
He was like, "I got a few things we can talk about how to get you to the next level." So fast forward about a year later, I'm wrestling Tim Storm for the world title. And it's in front of my family, and everyone shows. It's like a big sold out house in Portland, and it's like, dude, I'm wrestling Tim Storm for the NWA World Title. Like, that's my dream. And like, I look out the door, and they're like, hey, Tim's here. And I look out the door, and I'm like, oh shit, that's James. What is James doing here? Right? James shows up and says, "I know how important this is to you, so I pull some strings, and I'm the referee." Dude, really? I'm already nervous. I'm wrestling for the world title. Now you're the ref.
That's how James roll, man. Oh yeah.
He's a very positive guy. I love James to death. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to have him, be part of that and be on the podcast. Like James is a good dude, and I support SWE 1,000%.
Appreciate that love, man. Yes, I'm loving SWE. I can't wait to see where we're gonna be 6 months from now, because some things are happening.
I'll tell you, since you're there, I want you to keep an eye out on this kid. His name is Jaden Roller. Okay, he's I think he's wrestling as Hollywood Jaden or something there. He's Road Warring Animal's son-in-law.
Yeah.
He is so good. That guy is phenomenal. I've wrestled him like 7 times, and each time was like picture perfect. That kid is going to be a star.
Yes, he's really good.
Yeah. So now you're headed up at the women's division SWE. I mean, you got a lot of things going on. You're married to
a wrestling school, Dog Pound Dojo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you and your Roddy Mac got a wrestling school. You guys are running them, running amok there.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is going on with you? Like, what other great thing can be discussed?
I got someone reached out to me. I'll be going up to NWA in June and agenting the girls up there in June. So
that's good.
Yes, God is good, man. God is good
all the time. All the time.
Yes, sir. I'm just enjoying life, and I'm grateful for the opportunities, because there's not many women getting these opportunities, and then a woman of color, that's it's unheard of. So I'm just still knocking down those doors, man.
That's why I say legendary, man. They call you the female fighting phenom. I'm calling you the legendary one, because you've done stuff in your career that I mean, man, I mean, look, you're keeping kids off the streets. You're always positive. You guys own a gym. You're Rodney on the Dog Pound Training Center. People I know will actually be like, hey, put them over real quick. Put them over, because I try as much as possible to put over people in my life. I put you guys over every time I go somewhere. I'll be in Tennessee with Sir Mo. Doing this show for the OIWA, and we talked about you actually coming there, and Man,
I was supposed to go there in February, but SWE had a show the same day. So
I know. I was waiting for you to show up at that show because
yeah,
I was there.
I was like, oh man, Mo. I was like, but I promise you, I got you. Just give me another day.
I told Mo, I said, look, bro, I want her to work on the show with me. If I gotta pay for her to fly in, I'll pay half.
And you know, I'm Memphis too, so that would have been like perfect. My family could have come and support, you know, and we'll see. Now everybody's getting vaccinated. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy too because I get my second shot the day before I leave for the next Memphis show.
Wow, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna be sitting at a hotel. Hopefully, I won't be sick. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Take a little Tylenol or something to try to fight it or something. I don't know. I got to try to get my stuff lined up for this week. I've been doing, you know, I'm still a wife, still a mommy. Oh my God. It never stops. You know, dentist appointment today with the kid and she got another one tomorrow. I'm like, oh my goodness, when am I going to be able to do what I need to do? So
I think I was stressing out. I was like, I'm at work and I'm like, I gotta get home. I gotta call Jazz. I gotta get home. My boss is like, can you stay? I'm like, hell no.
Yeah. He was like, how late do you stay? I'm like, no, about 10 o'clock. I'm normally out or on my way out. Cause getting up, getting his kids out for school.
I legitimately walked in my house and my daughter's like, hi dad. I'm like, can't talk to you right now. She's like, dog, I'm gonna go outside, dog, go outside.
That's crazy.
Oh man. But hey, before I let you go, because I know you got things to do. You had a really long day. Before I let you go, I'm going to talk about this game that we play here all the time on the Roundtable podcast. And it's simple. It's called Team With, Feud With, or Fire. Real simple concept. You can team with anyone in the industry, no matter who it is, alive or dead. You can feud with anybody, alive or dead, and you can fire any SOB you want. No excuses, no explanation needed, unless you want to give us one. So, Team With, Feud With, Fire.
Who I would feud with, and I say this all the time, if I ever had to come out of retirement, if WWE ever reach out, I would bust my ass and lose about 15 pounds to have a match with Charlotte Flair.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Queen versus the Fighting Phenom. Okay. Yeah. That's a legendary match. I mean, you got the queen of the ring right there, and you got the legend herself. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. But you know,
who I would team with Bianca.
Oh, wow. Okay. I can see that. Black excellence right there. I got you. And who would
fire? Who would I fire?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one right there.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh man, I don't know, because a lot of girls don't even know, honestly. I really don't watch wrestling. I don't.
You know what? Every wrestler I know.
If I tune into anything, I try to watch. I go back and watch clips of all the girls' matches, and that's sporadically. It's not a weekly thing that I do. You know, of course, I made sure I watched some of the match from Bianca and Sasha's Mania match, but I don't even know, man. Who would I fire? Oh God, I don't know. Who would you fire?
Damn, I mean that's another story for another day.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to fire you though, because you don't follow me on Twitter. My heart's broken.
Oh well, shit. Well, look, my phone right here, right here.
Look at that.
Yes.
That's how you.
I don't know who I would fire, and that's can be from any promotion,
anywhere, alive or dead.
Dead. Oh man, I don't like to mess with the dead, man.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of like Paul Lee. I wouldn't fire anyone. I'll just take them and find their strong points and utilize them that way.
That's a very positive way to come back at it. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
It's not cool being fired. You know what I'm saying? Been there,
man. That's a good way to come back at it. That's a real good way. Yeah. I think you and I want to say Matt Seidel are the only two people I've had on this podcast that did not fire someone but came back with a positive reinforcement. I like that. Like that. It shows good to you. That
This
shows
day
your
and
character.
time, we gotta stay positive, right? You better.
That's right. So
you better.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow Jazz on Twitter, like I do, you follow her at this link right here. That's right.
You go.
Do you want to go ahead and plug the Dog Pound, all the information?
Yes. The website is dogpounddojo.com, and that's DOGGPONDDOJO.
Dog Pound Dojo.
Yes, Dog Pound Dojo.
No, is it dogpounddojo.com?
.com, yes.
Excellent.
Actually, we just got it up here, I think, a couple of days ago. So I'm hoping it's
dogpounddojo.com, ladies and gentlemen. You can join. You can come.
Put a U in that pound, and you got
right.
pond.
That's right. I gotta go back and fix that, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
So I'm following your podcast, or
both. I mean, you can follow the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can follow
let me
me.
look for Roundtable.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, this has been another exciting installment of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast with the amazing Jazz, the true NWA Women's Champion, in my opinion, because you gotta lose the title to be a former champion, and you didn't lose it, but you can also go learn how to wrestle from Jazz in the amazing rock back at the Dog Pound.
Yeah, come on down to the pound, baby.
That's right.
That's right. Well, we gets down and dirty.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the channel here by going to anchor.fm/the Roundtable Podcast support. You can also find us on Twitter at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Cool thing is, if you missed this special interview with Jazz, you can also go check us out on Xfinity TV Portland, Monday, 10 p.m., channel 11, and Tuesday, 10 p.m., channel 22. And if you forget, Wednesday night, we're live on the Roundtable Podcast, live on Facebook, Twitter, all these amazing places. You can also find this podcast Wednesday night, 9 p.m. on channel 23. Jazz, we are everywhere.
Look, can't shoot on me no more. I just followed you.
Boom. See, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you get it done. All you got to do is you go to the one you want to follow. You say, hey, you ain't following me. What the hell?
Gotcha.
And with that being said,
you're the one that was setting all that stuff up there in Portland, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We're still going to be able to do all that.
Once the world opens back up, I got you.
Right.
I got you. I told Rodney the same thing. It's interesting because the Oregon governor literally just opened us back up like Monday. So I was excited. I'm like, hey, we get to run shows. Let's do it. And then on Tuesday, the numbers elevated way up and she shut us down before we got a chance to start. But good news, because I just read a report that Friday we all go back into the high risk level, which means that we're still able to eat in restaurants. Full contact sports will be open again. So fingers crossed, the next time I see you will either be in Memphis or will be right here. As a matter of fact, I know
or you can come on down to the SWE show.
Now, I was going to say, the OIWA has a show called Soromania, and that's going to be in Texas, Dallas, Texas, at the Elks Lodge. So I might just have to
when is this?
That's going to be in June. So I might just have to elbow some people in May, like, hey, I know somebody that wants to come over here and do this show. Hey.
Yeah.
Always looking out for people.
All the time.
With that being said, Jazz, thank you very much for joining us here on this exclusive interview on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'll let you get back to what you got to do.
I appreciate it, bro.
All right.
Much love to you.
See if we can get you unmuted. There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Like I said, man, it's one of those days. That was an exciting interview to talk to Jazz. I've known Jazz for like 10 years. And she's an amazing person, man. She's very humble. Thank you very much, Cheryl. I mean, she's an excellent interviewee. It was my pleasure and honor and privilege to talk to Jazz on the mic. I mean, I talk to her all the time offline, but to bring her on the podcast, and you're right, Shane. Jazz is awesome.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, she did that last match on Impact. I believe it was Hard to Kill?
Something like that, yeah. I saw the highlights from that match when they were hyping up the I forget what they call their women's division, but their women's tag team title match where she was in the corner of the challengers for that one. But yeah.
Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace are now managed by Jazz. And then you realize there's one commonality I've realized for this podcast over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, either puts over the OIWA, puts over Bobby Horn, Jason Maldonado, our girl CC, Dante Smiley.
Yep.
They put them over. Or SWE Fury.
That's right. A lot of love going around there in the down in the Texas and Tennessee areas. So
that's right.
Absolutely.
Your boy will be there your boy will be there 2 weeks, May 23rd.
Knockouts, that's right. That's right.
The Knockouts division, that's right. At the Memphis, Tennessee Hilton, your boy is involved in the OIWA North American Championship Tournament. A lot of big names are going to be in this tournament, man. And I understand guys like Ricky Morton.
I was going to say, I heard Ricky Morton had signed on.
He's going to be part of Sormania.
Yeah, there was actually an interesting story about Ricky Morton just recently. So he was supposed to take part in the Super 8 tournament just this past week, and unfortunately he couldn't make the show. Apparently, weather coming out of Tennessee going to Delaware was ridiculous. So they had to find a last minute replacement for him. And apparently they were able to track down Crowbar, WCW's Crowbar, Devin Storm. And
he's not that hard to track down. He's a chiropractor, so
Well, that's true. But yeah, they were able to get a hold of him, and he would fall to the eventual future winner of that tournament, Killian Mcmurphy. And I've actually been doing a lot of reading up on on that Super 8 tournament, which is something that a lot of you should actually go out and find these old tournaments, find the old edition. That tournament alone has made more stars than anything that I could possibly think of. We wouldn't have Daniel Bryan. Realistically, we don't have AJ Styles, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, if not for that tournament.
That's right. ECWA Super 8 tournament. Reckless Youth. Guys like B-Boy. B-Boy. As a matter of fact, shout out to my boy B-Boy. He's still rehabbing a very sad injury that he received.
He tore his Achilles,
at AEW during his debut match. Fucking sucks, man.
No, right?
B-Boy has been in his business for a long time, and he's earned every bit of the accolades he gets. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get B-Boy on the podcast as well to
that'd be great.
Tell his story as well.
Yeah. But yeah, B-Boy, another one of those guys that had the opportunity to be in that Bobby Roode, another guy that kind of got his career launched as a result. I mean, you name Tyson Dukes, another guy.
Yeah, boy, Tyson Dukes, friend of the channel.
Bobby Fish, you name it, they've been part of it. And find those tournaments. I mean, the very first tournament was held back in 1997, and you had a still in WCW Billy Kidman in that tournament.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then you would go on the next year, still in WWF, as part of Too Cool, Scott Taylor, Scotty Too Hottie, was in the next year's tournament.
I do believe Rey Mysterio was in that tournament at one time, and I do believe that the name just ran across my mind.
Let me see. Was Ray in?
Damn it.
I don't believe Ray was in. I know Psychosis was.
Psychosis, that's what I was thinking. Was in that tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Seriously.
Was Jushin Liger in that tournament at one time?
No, he wasn't. Another guy who got his career launched, Petey Williams.
Petey Williams, that's right.
Yeah, back in 2005. Yeah, it was the 2004 tournament that had Ricky Reyes, Rocky Romero, Christopher Daniels, Psychosis, Austin Aries.
That's right, AA Austin Aries, who will be also challenging Dante Smiley for the OIWA International Heavyweight Championship at Sormania.
So yeah, if you guys want to see where a lot of the future of professional wrestling really got their launching pad, find those ECWA Super 8 tournaments. They just put a bunch of them up online. I think all of them but one. And then the most recent one was just a few weeks ago. And again, the Shamrock Shooter, Killian Mcmurphy, shout out to him. He was the winner, and he's also simultaneously he was the champ. He's also their legacy champion. So Killian Mcmurphy is a guy that we're probably going to be hearing a lot about here pretty soon.
That's
so
right.
To be on the lookout for that.
Man, a lot of names, a lot of superstars. I'm going to tell you right now, the indie wrestling scene is on fire. And you know what's crazy? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this or not, but Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, is now a free agent. He is no longer under contract to the WWE.
That's right.
What would happen if he shows up at AEW? Or what would happen if he shows up at Ring of Honor? New Japan. Can you imagine that?
There's some guys out there that, we kind of go around and we say, what if we got this match? What if we got that match? I can't really say that about a lot of guys, but I could say that there's a lot of matches where I could see literally anyone against Daniel Bryan, and I would want to go watch that match.
I will tell you this right now, live here on the podcast. Right now, live here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega. Take my money. Please, take my money. Please.
Yes.
That match would kick all the ass.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Anyone that would have the opportunity to bring in Daniel Bryan, and I know a lot of the talk, the gossip was that he wanted to do more of a part-time schedule, but
dirt sheets,
yeah. But at the same time, there's a lot of matches that he hasn't had yet that you know how much he loves professional wrestling. So all these different matches, that he would be on top of that, like just in a heartbeat.
Man, I'm telling you, some of these dream matches.
So
Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. Daniel Bryan versus Darby Allin.
Yeah. That would be a heck of a match.
Man, there's a Daniel Bryan versus Jonathan Gresham. That is another one.
Yep.
Dude, Daniel Bryan, Jonathan Gresham. Sweet technical match.
Yeah, it would be.
Fuck, Daniel Bryan and Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
But here's a match that I want to see. And this match will kick all the technical ass in the ring. The current Impact Wrestling X Division champion, Josh Alexander, friend of the channel, versus Daniel Bryan. Once again, chef kiss.
I could go down a literal just list of wrestlers that I would I would pay money to watch Daniel Bryan face, and now we actually have the opportunity to see these matches now.
You know what I want to do?
Hmm.
I want to get you, myself, George Hermosa. He does an XPW podcast, and our boy Adam Woods, according to Woods, on a panel.
Ooh.
And just book the shit out of Daniel Bryan. Like, that's right. Yes, Shane. That's right. Yes. Yes. I'm just saying, man. Literally, yes.
So
yes.
many matches. So many promotions. I mean,
man.
You don't have to limit yourself necessarily to Impact or
NWA Power. Daniel Bryan versus the Pope.
You could go. You realistically could have an opportunity to see him in New Japan, or you could have him over in Germany.
Dude,
over in
Daniel
England.
Bryan versus Naito.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, Daniel Bryan versus the Rainmaker.
Okada.
Oh my god. So, Daniel Bryan and Will Ospreay, man, come on.
Yes. Holy shit. Yes.
Man, shout out to Will Ospreay, man, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the ugliest belt in professional wrestling. But yeah, that includes, dude,
Jay White, yes,
Jay White, Tama Tonga, and Daniel Bryan,
right?
Oh man, so many people.
Since
we were on Daniel Bryan versus Bad Blood, yeah, that might kick all the ass. He beat the shit out of me, but you know. Funny story though, I actually wrestled with Daniel Bryan one time when I worked at the New Japan Dojo in LA. He was the American Dragon Bryan Danielson back then.
Right, yeah, because he was doing the I forget the year exactly, but I know that he was going back and forth.
96.
Oh, this was in the 90s?
96, 97.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes.
I thought this would have been like early 2000s, because I remember him going back and forth to New Japan.
Daniel Bryan versus TJP.
Ooh.
Daniel Bryan versus Penta.
El Zero, yeah. Has he?
Oh man.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, sure, he has wrestled Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. It was damn good.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle. Damn, it's true. It's damn true. That'd be good. Brian Lee, thank you very much for the shout out, my man. Thank you very much. Sometimes a man needs to hear some good press, man. Sometimes a man needs to hear it. I've been feeling pretty shitty the last couple of days, and today has been really rough. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really weird day. It's felt like just a lot happened, but a lot didn't get done, if that makes any sense.
I know what happened though. If Daniel Bryan versus Hangman Page.
There you go.
Brian, thank you very much. You've always gotten your money's worth. Hey, I aim to please, man. I do. I aim to please. I try to make the crowd feel as much as part of the show as I am. Oh, look at this. Tony DeBurn, you are a good podcaster.
Thank you.
He's an even better commentator, ladies and gentlemen. Even better commentator.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's going to be nice to actually get back to doing live shows, though, because when I heard that we were going to have that, we were going to go back to having the opportunity to be back in, not extreme risk, I just was like, well, thank fuck.
I was a little frustrated, man, because I literally
extremely frustrated.
Spent hours on the phone talking to Patty Dietz, one of the co-owners of BCW Worldwide, and we were going over our plans for 2021.
Mm-hmm. Now that we can make plans.
I hung the phone up, and I hung the phone up, and I was going to call you.
Yeah.
And I sat down at my computer at work, and I turned on the screen to look at my emails, and a report came through, and I said, son of a bitch. That's all I said. I
That
just
was
looked at the
about my
computer and I'm like,
reaction
son of a
too.
bitch.
It's like, and and I was alluding to the whole thing with the Blazers for a reason, because honestly, I don't think anything really would have gotten done unless Damian Lillard actually would have said something, because you could tell between him, CJ McCollum, and the rest of the Blazers organization, they were frustrated when they realized Portland was going to be the only team in the NBA that could not have fans. So once that backlash started to hit Kate Brown, I think she realized, oh shit, I better do something now.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. And I was discussing this earlier today. There's this mayor. I'm not going to put her name out there because in my opinion, she's a stupid bitch. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to be out there to say it. She's a stupid bitch. And the reason I say that is this. She basically called Kate Brown. She called 14 other mayors in their little counties, right?
Yeah.
And her reasoning was, we don't want to wear masks. We don't want to have these restrictions. We want to go back to normal. So we aren't going to do that. And you're going to have to send the police down here and the police chiefs down in those little towns.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think it's like Border City or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself as I'm reading this report, I'm like, is she serious? Like, people are dying over COVID.
Yeah.
And you're mad because you can't go get fucking Starbucks coffee without wearing a mask?
I know, right?
Like, are you serious? So, I mean, listen here, Karen. Here's the deal. You either do what you're told, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say these are my opinions and my opinions only. They do not reflect anything to do with the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast or any of our podcasting platforms.
Sure.
Now, with that being said, this lady's a stupid bitch. She is the mayor of a town. It is her responsibility to make sure that town is safe. The people who live in that town, the people who live in those communities are safe. That's right, selfishness personified. You're damn right. She basically decided that she didn't want to have people getting inoculated. She was like, yeah, that's right, Karens do suck. She didn't want people to get inoculated. She was like trying to stop the inoculation centers in her town. Like, are you serious? Look at this. I had a friend pass away from COVID, so I take hand washing and mask wearing seriously. Bryan, my mother passed away from COVID.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say I am a mask marauder. Put your goddamn mask on, wash your hands, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all grown-ups.
Yes, we are.
We're all grown-ups. And I have a 12-year-old daughter and I have a 16-year-old son. Do I want to be around for them when they get older? You goddamn right I do. Do I want to die from COVID? I watched my mother pass away from that. It was the worst feeling in my entire 46 years of life.
Yep.
So with that being said, put a goddamn mask on. Show some respect. Get your vaccinations too. That's right. Now I'm not shoving it down your throat. I'm getting my second shot. And Tony's getting his too.
Yep.
You guys want to go back to normal? Like, you guys want everything to be okay? Then it's simple. Follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
Follow the guidelines. Don't be like Florida. Don't be like the WWE and have WrestleMania, 30,000 fans, no goddamn mask on, like so close to each other. And here's the thing. People are saying, well, the vaccinations don't work. Wearing a mask doesn't work. That's stupid. I seen a meme today and it made a lot of sense to me. Someone said, if you wear a mask, if someone coughs in their mask, it's still going to get you. So the meme was, if a man walked up to you naked and peed on you, you are going to get pee on you. But if you are wearing pants, then you're going to get less pee on you.
Yeah.
Now imagine that guy who walked up to you and peed on you was wearing pants. You're not going to get pee on you because he's wearing pants and he just pissed himself.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
the whole point isn't even necessarily to protect ourselves. It's more to protect everybody else. We're trying to make sure other people don't get sick.
That's it. And with the vaccinations, they say the vaccinations are 85, 90, 95% effective. Well, guess what? That's still 95% more effective than you not taking a shot.
And that's
Jordan, Michael Jordan once said this, and I gotta say this again. I gotta get it out. Michael Jordan once said this: "You miss every shot you don't take."
Yeah.
Take the shot. Shoot your shot.
Exactly.
Exactly. Shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot. But when I heard this stuff, all I can think about was, are you serious? This chick has started a revolution against the governor. Now, look, I don't like Kate Brown.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm not opposed to her one way or the other. I'm one of those people. I don't vote for Republicans. I don't vote for Democrats because I'm not officially a part of a party. I vote for what is right, what I feel is right.
Dude, I could tell you, people far right, and there are some people on the left. They all hate me. They all hate me.
You know, and I don't want to make the show political or anything because I don't want people, you know, to have a shit over what I'm saying. But quite honestly, here's the deal: I vote for what I feel is right.
Yeah,
I will stand by you if it's right. I will not stand by you if it's wrong. So Kate Brown decided that she was going to shut down things so people can get better from COVID. I'm 100% behind that.
Definitely.
I want everyone. I want to go back to the way it was 2 years ago. You know, people were out having fun, going to the beach, going to the clubs, going to the parties, coming to live wrestling events. Do you think I drive past the BCW Worldwide Arena all the freaking time? And one night I literally drove over there. Like, I don't know why. It was just like force of habit. My gear was in my trunk of my car. I got off work and I'm driving to the show on Sunday and I realized there's no goddamn show. Yep. So yep. I missed the guys. I missed the guys in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Hell, I haven't missed Shane.
I miss everybody.
Hey, I really miss Sign Guy's old weird ass, but I'm not gonna say his name 2 more times because he'll probably pop up on the podcast. But I miss everybody. I miss being able to come in the locker room, shoot your shit with the guys. I miss being able to rib a lot of people. And most importantly, I miss the fans. I miss going out there. You know, I remember I was doing a match and I grabbed this guy's beer and it was a Corona and I fucking downed it. I spit it in Billy Moon's face. That was during the War Games match. Do you think I'd do that now? Hell no.
Jesus, no.
But 2 years ago, it was cool. 2 years ago. And I do miss Spencer. I do miss Just Exciting, you punk ass. He just sent me a message. He goes, I'm in Facebook jail.
Again?
Says, hey guys, LOL. Do you miss me? Yeah. As a matter of fact, Spencer, I got 6 pairs of new tights. And you know, when I get 6 pairs of new tights, my tag team partner gets the other pairs that I get because I always get 2. So shout out to my boy, Just Exciting. Check him out on OnlyFans. No, I'm just joking. Or am I?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't be so sure. That may not be a joke.
Oh man. Anyway, all BS aside, man. I want things to go back to normal. Tony wants things to go back to normal. Just Exciting wants things to go back to normal. Judy wants things to go back to normal. Shane, Bryan, Cheryl, everyone, even Kate Brown. Kate Brown wants things to go back to normal too. So those people who go on the forums, who go on the news feeds and bash the shit out of her because she's doing her job. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this. I run a wrestling company. I run the talent. It's hard as fuck dealing with 30 people.
It is.
Can you imagine?
It really is.
Can you imagine 30,000? Can you imagine 1 million people you're responsible for? Can you imagine that? Dude, that's hard work right there. That's crazy.
It is. It It really is.
You really can't bash her for doing her job. Her only job is to keep you people, the Oregonians, safe.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can dislike her personally. I mean, me personally, I don't know her. I can't dislike her personally, but I will say I dislike a lot of her decisions.
Yes.
Like saying we can't hold professional wrestling events, but I can go shop at fucking Fred Meyer.
Yep.
I can't go to a wrestling event, but I can literally go down the street from my house and go to Planet Fitness with 60 to 100. I remember when they did the whole 10% or 20% or whatever the hell it was in the locker room, in the gym. I went to the gym. I was so excited, man. I was like, I'm so excited to go back to the gym. I walk in there. I'm like, what the hell? So many people. So many people. Like, I'm talking like, let's say the whole thing was there can only be 100 people in the gym. I counted way more than 100 people in the gym. Even the dude at the front desk didn't have a fucking mask on. So I was like, I walked in, I looked, turned right back around, walked right back out. I went online and bought myself a weight set.
Yep, that was pretty much what I did. I mean, you've seen the gym I've been putting together here, and
I'm a little now I'm coming to your house.
Now I don't need to ever go to a gym. I got my own fucking place.
And that's the thing. Like, I get it. Like Cheryl said. Cheryl said it right from your mouth to God's ears. She's trying to make it safe so life can get back to old normal. Yes, I want the old normal. I'm tired of the new normal. I work 12 to 15-hour days some days, and I'm wearing a mask the whole goddamn time. I don't complain. Do I like wearing it? No. Do I have to wear it? No. I can be like, I ain't wearing no goddamn mask. Yep. Okay, look. I don't know what you and Taylor be doing, but Taylor just said that gym, you mean sex swing.
Oh, God.
So this is not the Roundtable After Dark. Sorry, nice ladies and gentlemen, Roundtable After Dark.
He hasn't seen the cable attachment that I put on the damn thing yet either.
Man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we get demonetized.
Yeah, probably too late for that.
Yeah, that was probably like 5 minutes in the show. And that's why people love this show, ladies and gentlemen, because we are real. We are real with it. We don't sugarcoat anything. It's all good. So anyway, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone that follows us, that watches the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast every week, that listens to us on Spotify, on Google, on Anchor, on iHeartRadio, on Pandora, on Amazon Music, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and I do mean every podcast network there is out there, we are on. But we're also on television weekly.
Yeah, we are.
And Tony, would you mind telling the wonderful people here at the Roundtable Pro Podcast, it's been a long night, where they can watch us on TV?
You can watch us on Xfinity and on Prism TV through CenturyLink in the Portland and Vancouver areas every Monday night, 10 p.m., Channel 11. And if you missed that, you can catch us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on Channel 22 Xfinity and Channel 8002 Prism. And if you missed that one, you got one more shot. You got Wednesday night, 9 p.m., Channel 23 Xfinity and Channel 8003 Prism.
You can also get us on YouTube at youtube.com/the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Jesus Christ, I said that 5 times fast. You can get us on Twitter at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And if you feel like you want to donate some money to keep this podcast going, if you feel like you want to dig in your pockets and help these boys with the sound, with the videos, with the equipment we need to keep this podcast going, if you feel you want to dig deep in your pockets, you can support the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast by going to https://anchor.fm/the Roundtable Podcast. Support your boys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have to do anything, stay home, stay safe, please love one another, and thank you for joining us here at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bad Blood. That is Tony the Burns. And we are out of here.
Good night.
Good night.